morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers. I'm out working in the tomatoes right now. I'm doing something that's always a little nerve-wracking, but we've seen it work before, so I'm going to just try to trust the process. So our tomatoes get all crazy because we don't stake them. Next year our goal is to stake them. We've grown them without stakes or tomato cages or whatever for several years now, and they really do a pretty good job this way, but they get all crazy, and as you pick you begin to break the vines and all those things. So what I'm doing, we've kind of had a division line in the field, and if I tried to turn it around and show you, it wouldn't show up. But we've basically picked half the field, and then the other half we've sort of left alone. So the half that we've been picking is all kind of stomped down and broken now. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm removing all these big long broken branches. Now I'm going to show you in a minute why this is nerve-wracking. There's a couple of reasons. One, it is late July and we are not getting very many tomatoes right now to begin with. And so it's always a little, it feels counterproductive to go in and chop on these plants when we're not getting very much anyway, but I'm going to try to show you what the plan is here. Alright, so I'm not trying to do the whole field today, I'm just kind of working in chunks. These are some that were done the other day, so this is kind of the goal. You can see the tomatoes are all just, they're flattened. They used to be really tall, like shoulder height, but as the weight of the plants has pulled them down, as we've stomped on them, picking them, they've been crushed. So this plant is kind of more the goal of what we're going back to. So all of the old vines that were growing off and been over along the ground, we've cut those off, and we've kept only these new shoots that are starting down here close to the roots. So what this is doing is these will be our fall tomato plants rather than starting whole new plants, which is sometimes really hard to do in the heat of the summer. These established root systems down here will support these young plants. We should start to get new blooms. Well, like there's a few new blooms right there and even one new young tomato. But they should begin to make again. We will have a gap in our tomato production between what I'm taking out now and when these start to make. But because I'm using these established root systems down here, they won't take as long to start growing. Now ideally we would get these staked this time around and go ahead and keep them off the ground. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But this feels very counterproductive because down here where I'm working, let me find one I already cut off. This is one I already cut off this morning, and you can see it does have tomatoes on it. So I always feel like I need to wait until there's no tomatoes growing on them and only cut the ones that don't have any tomatoes, but I can't really do that. I need to kind of systematically go through and clean these up. But again, that end down there is not getting chopped. So we have that end that we'll be picking, and I'll only be cleaning up these on this end that are really crushed. So hopefully it's not all going to get done today. There's 1,100 tomato plants, over 1,100 tomato plants. So it won't all get finished today, but hopefully I'll make some progress. I thought I should mention, I'm not just throwing away all the tomatoes. Anything that is blushing, so beginning to turn colors, I'm saving those so they can go ahead and ripen up, and we'll still have those. I'm not just throwing away good fruits out here. Some good fruits, but not many, because I'm trying to save anything that's blushing and will ripen. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on the video, but I wanted to show you kind of the idea behind what I'm doing. So this stem was attached within 5 or 6 inches of the main root of the plant, and so I trimmed it off there. This plant is about 7 feet long before you get down to the end where it's blooming. So this would be 7 foot of area that plant is having to work to bring nutrients and water up from the soil, and then to take the after photosynthesis, to take those same nutrients and take them back down. So this is 7 feet of plant for this little bitty bit on the end to be alive. So that's what we're trying to trim off, is these really long runners where the plant is working really hard for not much product. I'm going to see if I can use one hand to do this and show you kind of my goal here. So this is a plant that's kind of gone crazy. We've got vines going off every which direction, which is how this should have grown the first time around. Now, obviously you could have pruned it the first time around. It could have been pruned that way, but this is how we let ours grow. But what I'm going for this time is I would like to save this healthy stalk right here that is attached really close to the main base. And I may, like I've got some others, like I've got this one that's coming up really close, and this one, I may leave some of those, but I'm gonna start by trimming off on this side. And what I do is I start with like these that I can look and see it goes way down there to either poor quality fruit, like these are tiny and split, or it goes down there to no fruit. So I'm gonna start by trimming those off, and then we'll look again and decide what to go for next. All right, hopefully you can see this. So there's that main branch that we were going for, the one that comes out right here. So that was the main one, but I did decide to leave some of these others on this one as well. Just because they're also connected really close to the base. They're also really good, strong, sturdy stems. So I'm gonna let it do a few more and see what it does. It's kind of a game of chance. Yes, there's a science to it, but also as long as you're leaving something on there, you're probably gonna do okay. So don't be too afraid to start chopping on it as you learn how to do this. And you can also watch, you know, people with hothouse tomatoes tend to prune theirs a lot more often than I do, and they'll have better information on this. So you can watch them as well. But what I'm going for is just strong, healthy stems supported close to the main root system. I don't want the ones that are 7 feet long. All right, I didn't make just a ton of progress today. I got pieces of the chocolate cherries done, but this is one of those things where the longer I look at it, the more I make mistakes. So I just try to do it in little small pieces. But again, all we've done here is cut off the big long pieces and take it back down to one small piece. There are a few plants in here where I did not find anything to leave, like there were no shoots that were close to the plant. Sometimes when I cut them off like this, I'll get shoots that come on up out of them anyway. Sometimes we just lose them, but I just went ahead and trimmed those back as well. And you can see some of them have multiple stalks that I've left, and some just have one, but that's all we're doing. So again, the idea here is just to trim them up, get those big long pieces off that the plant is having to work so hard to provide nutrients for, and let them kind of start over for the fall. But they're starting over with a well-established root system. So these are going to get watered today. Right now the peas are being irrigated, but when the peas are done, we'll turn on this drip irrigation, and so that'll water them, and hopefully before too long we'll start to see those fall tomatoes setting on there. Anyways, thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. I hope I was a little bit helpful. Y'all be sure and share our YouTube channel so we can grow, and come back when you can stay longer.